Runners don't need an excuse to buy more shoes. There's one area of training where your standard running shoes aren't going to cut it: the weight room. Now, it can be a jump to get most runners to start lifting weights, so if they're ready to start lifting, we want to make sure we're setting them up for success. And that means you're going to need the right equipment. I'm going to give you 3 different reasons why you need a pair of lifting shoes in your shoe rotation. Running shoes are designed to propel you forward. Their specific anatomy and structure is designed to help optimize how your foot hits the ground moving forward during training and during racing. That's why when you break down the anatomy of a shoe, you see lots of different characteristics. Often you'll see a stiff heel counter, internal structure that adds a little bit of stiffness, comfy upper portion of the shoe, and something like a crash pad on the posterior aspect of the shoe that allows you to adopt a rear foot strike. Running shoes are designed for running. And over the last few years, with the rise in popularity of Ons and Hokas and every other major shoe model shifting towards more cushioning, your running shoes have become even more of a problem if you're trying to lift. These are comfy for running, but they're wobbly when you're in the weight room. Maximalist footwear and traditional running shoes might be fine if you're doing bilateral exercises like deadlifts and squats, but can be a big problem if you're trying to incorporate any kind of single leg training into your routine. If you simply watch a runner attempt to perform different movements in the weight room, you'll notice how much extra movement is happening when they're in a pair of shoes like this versus performing the same exercises barefoot. That extra cushioning can be a problem, and it forces me to change how I program for my athletes if all they have access to is a pair of trainers. These shoes limit the ability to put force into the ground, as well as to perform single leg movements in a controlled manner. Let's go to our second problem: a lack of sensory input. When you put on a pair of running shoes, you lose some sensory input into your feet. And this is perfectly fine in training. Having a bulkier shoe is a problem when you're actually trying to lift. It's amazing how many times I can have an athlete go through something like marching or step downs or toe taps, and they only realize that their foot is wobbling like crazy or they are gripping their toes when we take their shoes away. And for my athletes, I want them to have as relaxed feet as possible when we're in the weight room. Now, the solution to this is often to have athletes lift barefoot. I work in a shared space. If I have all my athletes lift without shoes on, it's not necessarily the best for everybody there. So while barefoot exercises may be fine at home, they're not great if you're lifting in a team environment or entering in a commercial gym, which means we need a different option. Runners need a shoe like this. These are my oldest pair of cross-training shoes. I got these years ago. These New Balance Minimuses are a great option for runners looking to enter the weight room. Unfortunately, New Balance doesn't make these anymore. So I'm gonna highlight my current lifting shoe. People at Xero sent me this shoe. I wanna talk you through a couple of the pluses and minuses and what you need to consider whether you're looking to get a shoe like this or another one that you think is gonna help. First, you wanna make sure that the shape of the shoe matches the shape of your foot. This model, as well as a lot of different cross-training shoes, have a wider forefoot that matches the natural shape of the foot. That's what you're looking for, so you're not pinching your toes in the toe box. The second thing you want is good fit between your foot and the shoe. So this Xero model has a strap as well as laces and an upper that is meshy, but it doesn't feel like your foot wobbles around. The strap and the laces help with that. This shoe is a zero drop shoe, hence the name. I don't think you need a zero drop shoe to lift in the weight room. I feel more comfortable in them, but I think that's largely gonna be personal preference or the exercises that you're performing. Now, the downside about shoes like this is if you're trying to incorporate plyometrics, it's gonna be a little bit more challenging on the foot and the calf because of the nature of the zero drop. If you're performing plyometrics like pogo jumps or skipping variations, those might be better done in your natural trainers, while these shoes might be more ideal for bigger movements like broad jumps and squat jumps. I think these are a great shoe. If you wanna pick up a pair, you can find the link below in the description, and I don't get any commission if you end up buying the shoe. Having a separate lifting shoe can be crucial for endurance athletes. Whether you choose this Xero option or not, find a shoe that naturally fits the shape of your foot, provides you a little bit of stiffness, and feels comfortable when you perform both bilateral and unilateral exercises. And if there's other shoes you like, feel free to drop them in the comments below. Thanks for watching.